normal omelette costs 100 euros. Curious, then tasted it but realized it wasn't an omelette. Puzzled, Tenchi took the spoon and put it in his mouth, then frowned. See, it's not an omelette. It's a dessert made with mango, passion fruit and coconut milk. Before they could react, the shopkeeper brought out a special dish. It looked like a potted plant. When you add water to the pot, the plant starts to grow very quickly. It was in fact a kind of edible salad. When the manager saw their reaction, he laughed at them because they hadn't seen the world. TseYou was furious and went straight to the chef with the dish. As TseYou had come here to eat and not to see magic, he asked the chef to cook properly, but the chef didn't panic and calmly took out a steak and provocatively asked TseYou if he knew how to prepare it. TseYou sensed that the chef was arrogant and wanted to show him how to cook. He skillfully cut the onion into several pieces and threw them all into the pot, then cut up the beef. At this point, TseYou looks at the onion in the pan. To prevent it from cooking too long, it placed the onions on the iron plate and added sesame oil for flavor. TseYou pours in the beef cubes and stir-fries them several times over a high heat, then adds seasoning to enhance the flavor. After a few operations, a delicious dish is ready. The name is beef with spring onions. However, Paul, as a great Western chef, doesn't like Chinese food. Paul gets out his flamethrower and grills the steak until it's crispy. He then cuts up the steak, places it on a prepared plate and covers it with a tight-fitting lid. The next operation is the essence of the dish. He takes out a match, lights the apple wood in the jar and smokes the steak with the resulting smoke. The result is a steak that is not only tender, but also full of flavor. TseYou was so impressed with Paul's steak that she left the restaurant in silence. Paul also tasted TseYou's beef and found it very tasty. This changed his mind about Chinese food, so Paul approached TseYou again, ready to take him on. I've never seen such mastery of the knife. With one stroke of the knife, half the fish was instantly sliced. As he ran his hand over it, he identified the location of the fish bone. Paul took the tweezers and, thanks to the speed of his hand, removed all the spines in no time at all. Then it's TseYou's turn. He runs the chopper over the fish to make sure all the spines have been removed, then picks up the chopper and quickly chops the fish. Thanks to his knife skills, the fish is quickly cut into small, even pieces. TseYou passes the knife through the skin of the fish and cuts it from head to tail. The next second, the skin and meat are separated in an instant. With one final flick, the fish is cut up completely. The audience can help but applaud this marvelous performance. TseYou is a well-known chef on the street. Thanks to his excellent cooking skills, he has opened a well-known restaurant in the neighborhood, which attracts a stream of customers every day. But that day, a Western restaurant suddenly opened on the other side of the street, depriving TseYou of all his customers. The chef at this restaurant is called Paul, a 3-star Michelin chef whom the owner brought in from abroad. He doesn't just cook good food, he also presents it beautifully. Paul believes that Western food is always at the cutting edge of progress and innovation, but Chinese food is very conservative. The dishes have not changed for decades and are not interesting. Paul's words upset TseYou. The two men had often taken part in cooking competitions together, wanting to compete, but each time they could only manage a draw, so they signed up for the national cookery competition, where they would compete against each other. Paul takes out a tin of French foie gras and wraps it in aluminum foil. He surrounds it with hot water and puts it in the microwave. When it's done, Paul takes it out, cools it with ice and places a flamethrower on the bottom. This made it easy to remove the foie gras. He cuts the foie gras into small slices and removes one sheet. Then he puts the foie gras and the caramel on top and heats the whole thing with the flamethrower. The caramel and foie gras mix perfectly, followed by a spoonful of strawberry mousse combined with the unique Western style of presentation. A delicious caramelized foie gras is ready. TseYou has also created his own speciality. The man takes out a duck and cracks all the bones. He inserts the knife into the duck's abdomen and wiggles it, exerting slight pressure. The bone and meat separate. The audience was amazed by this marvelous operation. He then stuffed the duck with all sorts of seasonings and poured in the boiled soup until it filled the whole body of the duck. He then wrapped the duck in lotus leaves and covered it with a layer of coarse salt. He wrapped the duck in lotus leaves and covered it with a layer of coarse salt. After browning and heating the salt, the whole duck is buried in it. Finally, after a long period of cooking at high temperature, the fragrant duck is ready. After gently scraping it, the soup drained instantly. After tasting the duck, the judges gave good marks to both candidates. They even got the same score in the final round of judging. However, the judge awarded the title to Paul on the grounds that TseYou's dish was not good enough. Furious, TseYou left, but Paul learned that he had won the championship because his boss had bribed the judge, and the boss decided to let Paul's girlfriend take part in the next world cookery competition. It turned out that Paul had lost his sense of taste and was relying on an old recipe to cook. As the recipe has been stolen by Paul's girlfriend, Paul no longer has any value. Paul finds this hard to accept and finds TseYou. After a heart-to-heart talk, they become friends. They decide to combine Chinese and Western cuisine and take part in an international cookery competition. The competition went according to plan. All the participants were busy preparing their dishes, but these two are quietly grinding tofu. They are preparing a classic Sichuan dish, Mapua tofu. This dish is not as prestigious as those of the other candidates, but after tasting it, the judges were deeply shocked. It turns out that there's a secret hidden in this seemingly ordinary Mapua tofu. The contestants stirred the bean paste into the tofu, then made beef stock balls and placed them on top of the tofu. When the judges eat it, it will explode in their mouths. They know that the most important thing in Sichuan cuisine, apart from spiciness, is numbness. The peppercorns they use are the famous Sichuan red peppercorns, and only the best 3 are used in each bouquet. As a result, Mapua tofu is fragrant, spicy and very tasty. After a unanimous decision by the judges, the title of champion was awarded to both of them. Paul also joined TseYou's restaurant after the competition. With Paul's help, TseYou is sure to make his restaurant even more successful.